This morning, the world energy community is gathering in New York City for a big night ahead. Tonight is the annual Platts Global Energy Awards ceremony, a ceremony that recognizes the best of the best companies and individuals in a number of energy categories. Clean Sky's Susan McGinnis is live now in New York with a preview of tonight's events. And Susan, seems clear these awards are really becoming an honor for companies and executives involved here.
Absolutely, and the fact that these companies and executives come from all around the world, from dozens of countries, is really proof of that. These are really seen as the Academy Awards of Energy, or sometimes it's called the World Series of Energy. Really, the hallmark of excellence is what these Platts Awards have become for the energy community. More than 500 energy executives come from around the world to be here. A lot of different categories for the awards tonight. I'm going to run down just a few of them. The big one, of course, Energy CEO of the Year. Ralph Izzo of PSEG is up for that one. Also, Greg Boyce from Peabody, and Aubrey McClendon of Chesapeake Energy. Now, Chesapeake is the one of the funders for the American Clean Skies Foundation, which does fund Clean Skies News. He is nominated for Energy CEO of the Year. Also, another big award, Energy Producer of the Year. These are companies, and up for that award among many is Anadarko Petroleum, Chesapeake Energy up for that one, as is Peabody Energy. Also, one big award now is the Sustainable Technology Innovation of the Year. Orion Energy Systems won this one last year. The nominees for this one, just a couple of them, eSolar, ICE Energy, and also PSEG is up for this one. There's a big emphasis this year and last year on the race to bring sustainable technology, green technologies to mass market scale. So there's a lot of emphasis now on those technologies, and that's becoming more important in these awards. So ahead of the big event, Platts held a forum. It was the Global Energy Outlook Forum. Talked a lot about sustainability issues that are facing policymakers and large energy businesses. The keynote speaker there was Steve Koonin, who's of course the Undersecretary of Science for DOE. He talked a little bit during his talk there about his take on the furor over those hacked emails out of the UK that some say prove that climate scientists fudge data on climate change. Here's what Koonin had to say about that.
You know, my take on it, I think there are 3 or 4 important things to take away from it. One is that you ask yourself, does this change our understanding of climate or anthropogenic influences on climate? And the answer is almost certainly not. Our picture of climate is built up on the basis of many different sets of observations, many different sets of data, many different people working on it, and the notion that there is one silver bullet, and it happens to be this one that might be in question, is just, it doesn't make sense to those of us who understand the science. The second issue, quite separate, is what about the integrity of that data set and that analysis? And there I think we're going to see the scientific process in action. That data and the codes are now out and about on the internet. There are lots of smart people who are poring over them, and we'll know pretty quickly whether there have been significant errors made. And then finally, or not finally, penultimately, there is the issue of scientific misconduct among some of the people involved. All of the institutions that employ these folks have procedures for making inquiries about scientific misconduct. You've seen some of them actually underway already in University of East Anglia and in Penn State University, and we'll let that process play out. I should say I have a lot of faith in that system, having been in charge of it at Caltech for 9 years and unfortunately having to deal with some instances of that. And then I think the last question is, who done it? There was a crime committed in distributing those documents, and we should get to the bottom of who did that.
And Koonin also spent some time there talking a bit about nuclear, and specifically barriers that he saw to the expansion of nuclear energy in the United States. And of course, capital was one of the big ones. He talked about long-term scale, getting nuclear to large scale here in this country. Also, the NRC licensing process, which needs to be improved. He talked about waste, but he seemed to think it was much less of an issue than others do, more political issue than a real technical issue. He talked about dry cask storage as a solution for that. He also talked about the fact that there is a need, he believes, for us to develop 4th generation or next generation nuclear reactors. So on to the festivities for tonight. Tyler, they start at 6 p.m. at Cipriani's down on Wall Street. This is a black tie event. Again, a big gala. It lasts all night long. So by about 11 o'clock tonight, we will be sure of all of the winners, of all of the finalists, and there's so many of them. And we're going to have a full wrap up. I'm going to have more at 4 p.m. tonight on the Energy Report, and of course all of the final results tomorrow morning on on the Energy Report.
And all this right before a busy 2 weeks begin in Copenhagen as well. Susan
That's
McGinnis
right.
live in New York. Thanks, Susan. We'll see you this afternoon.